Nakikita po ba yung aking screen?
Yes, sir.
So in continuation, this is now plane areas, other examples. How about if we're going to deal with two types of equation, such that one of these equation is a parabolic curve, and one of these equations is a line. To find the area bounded by the intersection of the curve and the line. Okay, which of these two equations is a parabolic curve and which is a line equation? Saan dyan si parabolic? Si 1 or si 2? Hello? Saan dyan si parabolic? You can use your mic, please. Cannot see your chat box. Saan si parabolic? Parabolic curve is simply equation 1, while the second equation is a line equation. So with that said, let us first identify the vertex on the parabolic equation. Given that equation 1 is a parabolic equation, which is 2x squared plus 4x plus y equal to 0, such that if we are going to identify complete the square, for x is equal now to negative y, divide both sides by 2, that is x squared plus 4 equal now to negative y. Or that is 2x. 2x equal now to negative y over 2. Okay? So, anong susunod na gagawin natin dyan? Completing the square para makuha natin yung ating vertices, h at saka k. So, x squared plus 2x minus 1. Kung if we subtract 1 on the left side, we need to add 1 on the right side, right? So, completing the square, x squared plus 2x minus 1, that is simply x plus 1 squared, equal now to negative 1/2 times y minus 2. So, as simple as that. So, hanapin natin yung ating h at saka k value. H, ansan dyan si h? That is h at saka k. Asan si h? That is negative 1. Opposite lang. Negative 1, then si k is positive 2. How about our 4a? 4a is negative 1/2. Okay? So if 4a is negative 1/2, therefore, our parabolic curve is opening downward. And kasi with respect to x-axis naman yan. Okay? Then the value of a will now be equal to negative 1/2 divided by 4. So negative 1/2 divided by 4, that is negative 1/8. So most likely this parabolic curve is about the second quadrant facing or opening downward. Then 2a is simply equal to negative 1/4. But we will not need that. What we need is the intersection at which the line intersect with the parabolic curve. So how will we determine that? Next part is the point of intersection. Point of intersection with the line and the parabola. Okay, let's just combine equation 1 with equation 2 by simply substituting equation 2 with equation 1. Remember that equation 2 is y equal to 2x. Simply substitute that with equation 1, gives us 2x squared plus 2x squared plus 4x plus 2x is equal to 0. Or 2x squared plus 6x is equal to 0. Factor out lang natin. That is 2x times x plus 3. So with that, x could be equal now to 0 and negative 3. Gets nyo yung 0 and negative 3? Finactor lang natin. Then substitute if 0 will be equal to 0 and negative 3 is simply equal to 0. Okay, 0, then negative 3. So that is the value of our x. So knowing the value of x, let us try to substitute x with equation 2, which is y equal to 2x. So if x is equal to 0, therefore y is equal to 2 times 0, or y is equal to 0. And if x is equal to negative 3, therefore y is equal to 2 times negative 3, and y is simply negative 3, negative 3, or y is simply equal to negative 6. Points with respect to y-axis is 0 and negative 6. So what are the point of intersection? Those are point of intersection. Those are 0 to 0 and negative 3 and negative 6. With that said, we are now ready to plot our curve and our line in a Cartesian plane. So please bear with my drawing. So for our Cartesian plane, type lang natin yung ating x and y axis. Okay. So remember that the vertex was found at negative 1 and positive 2. So negative 1, 1, 2, 3. Negative 1, negative 2, 3. That is 1, 2, 3. Negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5, negative 6. Okay. The vertex of the parabola was found at negative 1, positive 2. Tat lang natin yung negative 1, positive. Negative 1, positive 2. Ito na yung ating vertex. Okay? So may vertex na tayo. Now, plot natin yung intersection point kung saan daw nag-meet si line at saka si parabola. That is 0, 0 and negative 3 and negative 6. Right here. So, eto ngayon yung dissecting line natin for the parabola. Okay. Eto ngayon yung ating dissecting line. So, eto ngayon, si what? Y equal to 2x. Then, your parabolic curve. Ganyan. More or less, ganyan yung ating parabola intersecting a line. The point of intersection nila is negative 3 and negative 6 and 0, 0. Vertex is negative 1 and positive 2. Hindi na natin pwedeng gamitin yung conventional method natin before when it comes to solving area bounded by a parabolic curve. Kasi if it is only a curve, we can simply refer to the focal length and the latus rectum to identify the limits, the upper and lower limits of our integrand. Okay? So with this, nasa sa inyo kung anong gusto nyong gamitin, vertical or horizontal elements. But take note kung ano yung mas madaling ma-identify when it comes to solving the area bounded by this curve and line. So if we are going to use vertical element, you can identify your vertical element or assume a vertical strip on this section and also on this section. Nevertheless, they are just the same. Long as we are dealing with the section at which the curve and the parabola and the line intersect. Kasi ang hinahanap nating area, yung area sa loob ni parabola or yung area between the parabola and the dissecting line. Okay? So if we're going to use vertical strip, that is your y top, that is your y bottom, y top, and also y bottom. Alam mo na kung anong value, anong equation si y top, anong equation si y bottom. Kasi we have considered section for the parabola and also the section of the line. Okay? Then that strip has a thickness of dx. Okay? Before anything else, let us check kung tama ba yung ating pinlot na intersection. Check natin kung tama yung ating curve. This is just for checking. Huwag niyong gagamitin ito sa inyong quizzes and exam. This is just for you to check if your curve is correct. So, papansin natin, i-extract nyo muna yung inyong parabolic curve and identify your vertex such as shown here. Ito yung part na sinolve natin yung H and K. Then your equation for the line. Then eventually this website will plot the curve and the parabola and the intersecting line. So, mapapansin nyo, ito yung ating vertex, -1, +2, 0, 0, -3, -6. So, ito yung area na kailangan nating isolve. Yung area between the parabola and the dissecting line. So, tama yung ating drawing. Okay? So, with that said, hanapin na natin yung ating area. So, y top, hanapin muna natin si y top. Y top is equal now to the strip part of the parabola. That is simply, ano yung section yan? The parabola. That is 2x squared plus 4x plus y, right? Just the same. Simplify lang natin in terms of y. Y is simply equal now to -2x squared minus 4x. Or y top is equal to -2x squared minus 4x. While y bottom is, ano yung strip holding y bottom? Is the part of your line. So line, that is simply y equal to 2x. So, ito ngayon yung ating y top and y bottom. So, hanapin na natin yung ating area. Dali na naman. Area, remember that area is simply equal to the differential area equal now to the vertical element. That is x lower limit, x upper limit, y top minus y bottom times the thickness. So, area is simply equal now. Ano yung ating limits? So, if we're going to consider vertical element, ito yung point ng kanyang revolution. Ito yung point ng kanyang limits. Nandyan. Point ng ating limits is from 0 to negative 3. So, ilan yung area? Ano yung section na kailangan nating i-consider for our area bounded? Starting from 0 to negative 3, x-axis. So, that is negative 3 to 0. Lower limit, negative 3. Upper limit is 0. Substitute y top is negative 2x squared minus 4x minus y bottom of 2x dx. Simplify. That is simply negative 4x negative 4x minus 2x, that is 6x, right? Negative 2x squared minus 6x dx. Apply integration. That is now 2/3. Negative pala yun. Negative 2/3 x cube minus squared 3x. Hindi ba? 6 divided by 3 is 2x squared. Tama ba? Tama. 2x squared. That is our formula. Kaya na mag-apply 2x squared power formula, negative x cubed 2/3. Negative 2/3 x cubed minus negative 4. Negative 4 minus 2 is negative 6. Negative 6x power formula, 1 plus 1, 2. 6 divided by 2, that is 3. 3 pala to. That is 3. Then, integration constant. Then, apply your limits. Negative 3 to 0. Okay? Substitute lang natin si constant. Upper limit, negative 2/3 times x cube or 0 cube. That is simply 0, right? Then negative 3 times 0 squared is also 0. So minus negative 2/3 of negative 3 cube minus 3 times negative 3 cube 3 squared. That is simply equal now to negative 2/3. 2/3 times negative 3 cube minus 3 times 3 times negative 3 squared times negative 1 kasi yung function natin sa labas. That is positive 9. Don't forget square units. So that is now the area bounded by the intersection of the parabolic curve and a line. So yan lang po yung plane areas with parabola and line equation. Marami pang pwedeng example dyan. Inverted parabola to upward, to the left, to the right, downward, and intersecting lines, so forth and so long. So how about if we are now considering sine or trigonometric curves? Nakuha po yan?
Yes, sir.
Okay. For trigonometric curves or area under an arch and area under one arch. Wait lang. Area on one arc or arc. Now, consider this particular example. Find the area under one arc. Pag arc ang pinag-uusapan, it could either be sine curve or your cosine curve. Okay? One. Bagal ng internet. One arch. Okay? For one arch, let us consider this example. If y is equal to 1/3 of sine 4x. Sine sine 4x. For us to properly plot a sine curve and a cosine curve, we need to first to identify the period at which a curve performs a complete oscillation or a complete wave. So, ano ang ibig sabihin ng one complete wave? Meaning that is one revolution of a specific wave. So, let us try to plot a certain example in this website. Okay? If y is equal to sine of a curve, that is simply always intersecting at the origin of the Cartesian plane. So simply that is your sine curve. One oscillation of sine is simply equal to 2 pi. That 2 pi from 0 to 2 pi, meaning that is one oscillation or one frequency or wave. Okay? That is 0, pi, then 2 pi. So, maximum, minimum. Maximum, minimum. Maximum is simply 1 kasi 1 sine x. Then minimum is simply negative 1. Then another pi over there. And how about if it is cosine? So if it is cosine, maximum is positive 1 when x is 0. Okay? When x is 0, y is at positive 1, minimum is negative 1. Okay, kanina, sine, ang point of starting natin is always at the origin. Pag cosine, mag-umpisa tayo kaagad sa maximum, then minimum. Positive, negative. Then, ang complete oscillation is, complete wave is from this point up to this point. Ganun din lang, parehas lang. Kasi sa sine, ang point starting niya as the origin. But with cosine, lagi siyang with the y-axis nag-start. So then, ang period niyan is the same as, tawag na dito, is the same as the sine. So, papansinin nyo, this is 2 pi, this is also 2 pi. How are we going to compute for the period? For the period, that is simply complete revolution is 2 pi divided by number, x, divided by the number of x. That is 1x, then 1x. So 2 pi divided by 1, 2 pi divided by 1, simply 2 pi. So complete oscillation is simply equal to 2 pi. Okay? Then continuously yan, infinitely, and so forth and so long. But ang tinatanong lang later on sa problem natin is under one arch. So let us first compute the period on this curve. Computing for the period of this curve, that is simply complete revolution is 2 pi divided by the number beside x, which is 4. Yung 1/3 yung ating maximum minimum. That is 2 pi divided by 4, which is equal now to pi half. So, one complete wave is simply equal to pi half. Sine yung pinag-uusapan, so mag-start tayo sa origin, always. plot your Cartesian, your y, uh, your x-axis. Okay. Okay. Mhm. One complete wave. Let's just say this is pi. Uh, one complete wave is pi half. This is pi half. And we'll need to one complete wave is pi over 2. So hatiin natin yan sa 4. So ito yung point, ito rin yung point. Tapos dito, let's just say this is positive 1/3 and this is negative 1/3. Positive 1/3 maximum, minimum of negative 1/3. Always start at origin point O. Okay, let's just divide pi half into 4 section. Hatiin nyo lang yan sa 4. Pi half divided by 4. Ano yan? Divided by 4. First is pi over 8. Next one is pi over 4. And third one is 3/8 pi. Okay? So yan na yung mga points natin. Pag sine, always start at the origin. Then, at this point, dito natin makukuha yung location ng maximum. Dito rin makukuha yung location ni minimum. And dito yung point of intersection. And dito magi-end yung ating curve. Okay? So, that is there, and there. Okay. So, that is now your sine siya na in drawing. Okay? Maximum 1/3, minimum negative 1/3. And ang kailangan lang naman natin dito is the area on one arch. So, dito lang yan. Area on one arch. So, from 0 to pi over 4. Kayo bahala kung gusto nyo gumamit ng vertical or horizontal element. Pero for me, mas madali yung aking understanding, mas madaling gamitin yung vertical element. Pero later on, magdedepende yun. Magbabago yan when it comes to solid of revolution. Now, with this, that is your y top, that is now your y bottom, and your thickness of the strip dx. Okay? Then your curve is simply defined as your what? That is your y equal to 1/3 of sine 4x. Okay? Check natin yung ating curve dito sa ating graph. Kung tama. That is 1/3 of sine 4x. So, ito yung ating curve. So, pi over 4, pi over 8, 3/8 of pi, pi over 2. So, one complete wave. It a one period. One period. One complete wave. Pi over 8, pi 4, 3/8 pi, and pi over 2. Hindi tama yung ating curve. Okay? Then from that, again, let us consider vertical strip, y top, and y bottom. Hanapin natin yung equations ni y top and y bottom. Y top, that is simply your section of the sine curve, which is equal also to 1/3 of sine 4x. And y bottom is the section of your x-axis at the point of origin, which is simply equal to 0. How about your lower and upper limit of the integrand? Lower limit, starting, one arch ang pinag-uusapan sa problem. So, within this curve, That is from the origin to pi over 4. So lower limit is 0. Upper limit is simply equal to pi over 4. Okay? Then, let us solve our area now. Area, simply differential area, equal now to x lower limit and x upper limit, y top minus y bottom dx. Then, that is area differential 0 to pi over 4. Y top is 1/3 of sine 4x minus 0 dx. Okay? Ang dali lang namang i-differentiate, integrate niya, di ba? That is simply 1/3 integral of pi over 4 is 0 of sine 4x dx minus 0. So, our u is 4x. So, mag-introduce tayo ng correcting factor equal to 1/4. Right? Right? Introduce tayo ng correcting factor equal to 1/4. Oo, tama. Then, integral of sine is simply negative. Simply negative cosine. So, area is simply equal to 1/3 times 1/4 is negative 1 over 12 cosine 4x plus c. Upper limit, pi over 4. Lower limit is 0. Nababasa pa ba?
Yes, sir.
Substitute lang natin yung ating limits. 4 times pi over 4 minus negative 1/12 of cosine 4 times 0. Okay? Gamitin nyo yung radian mode ng calculator para mas mabilis. Substitute nyo lang. Oh, that is simply equal to 1. Is also 1. That is equal now to 1/12. Diba? This is negative 1. This is positive 1. So 1/12 plus 1/12. Area is now equal to 1/6 of square units. So, ito na ngayon yung ating final answer for the area bounded of one arch of a sine curve, of a trigonometric curve. Okay? Yan lang yan. Now, how about if we have cosine curve? Para sulitin na natin yung example. Kaya may lumabas na quiz na cosine tapos sine lang binigay ko. Now, how about you're now given this problem. Area bounded by a one arch of a cosine curve equal now to 3 cosine 2/3. Paano naman pag ganito? Remember, if it is cosine, start ng ating curve is already on the maximum. Then, until it finish its complete oscillation or complete wave. Compute muna natin yung ating period. The period, that is 2 pi divided by the value beside x, which is 2/3. 2 pi divided by 2/3, that is 3 pi. So, complete oscillation or a complete wave of this equation is at 3 pi. So, divide mo ulit si 3 pi into 4 section in your Cartesian. So, this is your y-axis. your x-axis. Ano naman yun? Ang pangit ng line. So your x-axis, let us have 4 sections here. And the last one will be your 3 pi. 3 pi divided by 4. That is 3/4 pi. 3/4 pi. That is divided by 4. That is 3/2 pi. And this is 9/2 pi. Pa ba? Divide nyo lang sa 4. The 3/4 pi times 2 is 3/2 pi. 3/2 pi times 2 is 3 pi, or 3/4 pi times 3 is 9/2 or 9/4? 9/2 pi. So more or less ganyan. So with that, hanapin natin yung ating maximum. Maximum is at 3 and minimum is at -3. Always start at the y-axis. This is your +3. This is your negative. Remember na yung curve natin hindi sa origin kundi sa axis. That is there, then here, and here, and there. There. Okay? Also 3. There is also 3. Okay? Ito ngayon yung point ng intersection niya sa ating axis. Tama. Ayan na yun. Then, check natin kung tama yung ating curve. Check natin dun sa ating pattern. That is equal to 3 cosine 2/3 of 2/3 of 3 cosine 2/3 of x. Tadan! +3, 3/4 pi, 3/2 pi, and 9/4 pala yun. 9 and then 3 pi. So maximum +3, minimum is -3, then to there. So complete oscillation from 0 to 3 pi. A complete period. Okay? So yan na yung ating problem number. This was supposed to be 9/4 pi. Now, ang question again is to find the area bounded at an arch. So at an arch is simply equal on this. Kayo nang bahala kung dyan or dito or dito. Mas lang naman yan. Okay? So using vertical element, meron na naman tayong y top and meron na naman tayong y bottom. Starting from the origin up to 3/4 pi. So alam niyo na by looking at the given strip, by looking at the assumed strip, alam niyo na yung inyong upper and lower limit, as well as your y top value and your y bottom. Y top, strip nung ating curve, right? That is 3 cosine 2/3 of x, which is simply equal y. Is also your y, right? Then y bottom is simply equal. Andun naman siya sa horizontal axis. Okay? Okay. And then, compute for the area. Area is simply differential integral of the lower limit and the upper limit times y top minus y bottom dx. Ano yung ating upper limit at saka lower limit? Yung curve is from 0 to 3/4 pi. So, ito yung ating limits from 0 to 3/4 pi. If you're going to use the area on the second section, that is 3/4 pi to 9/4. Okay. Then y top is 3 cosine 2/3 of x minus 0. Integrate nyo na lang. Alam nyo naman yan. That is 3, 0, 3/4 pi of cosine 2/3 x dx. So, mag-introduce tayo ng correcting factor na 3/2. Then, multiply that to 3. 3/2 times 3 is 9/2. Right? Then, integral of cosine is positive sign. So, 9/2 of sine 2/3 x plus c, upper and lower limit. 3/4. Okay? Nagets po ba kung saan nakuha si 9/2? Sine 2/3 x?
Yes, sir.
Sana alam nyo pa. Kinalimutan nyo na porket pasado na. So 9/2, substitute lang natin si upper and lower limit. Sine 2/3 of 3/4 pi minus 9/2 of sine 2/3 of 0. Okay? Your area now will be equal to what? Simplify nyo na. That is 3/4 pi times 2/3. 0 na yung pangalawa. Simply, that is 9/2 square units. Or 4.5 square units. Pero yung answer natin, dapat naka-fraction. Ay, area naman, okay lang natin decimal. 4.5 units. Square units. Square units. So, area naman, so okay lang yan. Area bounded by the arch is simply 9/2 square units and 4.5 or 4.5 square units if we are considering cosine curve. And if it is a sine curve, this example, that is 1/6 square units. So that is some of the examples involving plane areas, algebraic, and trigonometric curves. Area bounded by a specific parabolic, then line. Uy, pwede rin ang area bounded pag line lang ang pinag-uusapan. So, pag line, hanapin nyo lang yung triangle, then consider a horizontal and vertical strip of that section. Ay, hanapin nyo lang pala yung slope. Then, solve for the area using the same method. Y top, Y bottom, X right, X left. Now, for a short discussion on arc length naman,